Now, which committee on poverty had for the first time suggested state level poverty? Okay, meaning already there is national level poverty, there is world level also poverty line which World Bank declares. Like if you have this much income, then you are not you are below poverty or you are above poverty. That lines will be there. So state level poverty, which committee suggested? It was this Lakdawala Committee 1993. Okay, all these committees are related to poverty estimation. Okay, in India, actually mains question came. Explain all the steps which government has taken post independence to estimate poverty. Like that, a question came in mains. I think 10 marker or 15 marker. That time all these things you have to write. Okay, but here just a summary I have given. So in 1975, we had this Alag committee based on how much people has to eat based on calorie intake, meaning how will you determine whether a person is poor or not, like how much nutrition he is intaking, how much calorie he is intaking. So independent India, this committee defined the first poverty line. Okay, before independence, we had many other things. Okay, like Dadabhai Naoroji, I think 1906 or something, he made the first poverty line based on something. Okay, that's there in your Spectrum textbook. So here, post independent, this committee was the first one. So based on monthly per capita expenditure, in 1 month, how much are you spending? Based on that, they made a poverty line. Okay, and it's different lines for rural and urban. Then later, when this Lakdawala committee came, he introduced the state level poverty lines also. Okay, they continued the same method only, calorie intake and all these things, but introduced state level poverty lines also. And for urban and rural and all, they started having different indexes to understand like what are they purchasing and all. So there was a CPI IW, meaning industrial workers, what are they consuming, agricultural labor, what are they consuming. So based on that, you will decide, okay, urban areas poverty line is this much, rural area this thing is this much. Okay, now scaling of poverty estimates should not be based on the national account statistics. Okay, the expert group recommended only NSS data should be relied upon. So this and all, again, what they used that time, because it may not be valid now. Okay, which document they referred, which is, even these indexes and all, every index is not actively being referred nowadays. So this is just for a mains answer you can write. For prelims, I don't think they'll ask this kind of things. Maybe this they'll ask, as I highlighted, like first poverty line, which committee introduced, or state level who introduced, that kind of things. Maybe you can still get a question, but the detailing, you may not get a question in prelims. Okay. Then there is Suresh Tendulkar 2005 committee, which again till date, that is what is heavily followed. Even in NCERT textbooks and all, I have explained all these things. So it's a shift away from the calorie based consumption. Instead, now you are not only looking the food, how much food do you buy, you are looking a broad basket of things. Okay, there's a broad basket of like how much you spend on food, health, education, electricity, transport, your way of life. So that cost of living, that is the basis for Suresh Tendulkar committee. Okay, a change in the price adjustment procedure to correct spatial and temporal issues with price adjustment. So again, basically that only, your price, how much you are spending all these things. So incorporation of private expenditure. Okay, so that also is taken into consideration. So this values again 29 rupee per day for urban area, 22 for rural area. This is all in the NCERT video. I have already done free of cost in YouTube. Okay, you can watch NCERT class 9th chapter 3. Okay, in that it's about poverty only. I have explained these things. So a uniform poverty line across rural and urban India was suggested. Okay, so this also is a line. Okay, which committee suggested a uniform line for rural and urban this thing? Okay, even though he separately gave it, he suggested there should be a uniform poverty line basket. Okay, so that is suggested by Suresh Tendulkar committee. Okay, so again, this much, this reference period, something used, that is not important for you. Okay, only thing is they are a little different from the previous committee, that you have to know. Okay, now again, Rangarajan committee 2014, again based on that broad basket, meaning all these goods. Okay, but little more detailing. Okay, when you take the food, you are including not just food. You are telling how much fats is consumed, how much proteins, how much calories on these things, how much is spent. Okay, and again separated rural and urban lines. He also told, and he dismissed the Tendulkar committee estimations of the poverty lines. Okay, because he did not accept the value, whatever he told, this 29 rupee and whatever, he did not accept. So he has a different thing, alternate method to define poverty line. Examine divergence between the consumption data provided by NSSO. Review of international poverty estimation method, meaning he is looking to global methods. What are the global people using? What are the estimates they are doing? Based on that, make an Indian model. Okay, that was Rangarajan's suggestion. Okay, so like this slight differences, this is what you have to point out in the exam hall also. Okay, what are the different types of differences? Okay, there you don't have to worry like this much value, 899, this and all, you don't have to buy heart. Okay, you have to understand the basics. Then 2015-16, under Niti Aayog Vice Chairman Arvind, a 14-member task force was set up for a more realistic working poverty line. Okay, as per the current situation, but no proper conclusions was drawn. Okay. Now, typically, poverty lines are updated using the Consumer Expenditure Survey, which is conducted by the National Statistics Office once every 5 years. Okay, so every 5 years they keep updating. So the last survey happened in 2017-18, and based on that only they do. And this actually Modi government scrapped. Okay, they did not like this old method of calculating all these things. The government told there is data quality issues. Okay, so the next round in 2021 they were supposed to do it, and then 22 an All India Household Consumer Expenditure Survey set to resume. Okay, so now if we have a proper survey again, and then we'll take the proper data, because they didn't believe in the data which this NSO did, then they will estimate a proper poverty line. Okay, because everywhere people will give fake reports and all, like India half of the people are poor, India half of the people are dying of malnutrition. So the government needs authentic data. So a fresh survey with proper detailed this thing will be done, and then based on that they will make a new poverty line. Okay, so that you have to stay updated with current affairs.